apparently this penis head isn't wanting to cooperate. That was one of the reasons why I honestly said that they should charge him with a form of terrorism, because they would have been able to interrogate him differently than trying to sit here and play the weird game that they normally like to do with these people. They could have gotten some real interrogation in.
Chilling new details about Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin and what he did immediately.
I mean, if he's going to go out and commit the crime, it's obvious he wouldn't want to cooperate with the authorities. I mean, if you wanted to cooperate with the authorities, he would have just turned himself in.
Following the shooting.
So it comes as officials revealed the suspect is refusing to cooperate with the authorities.
Big surprise.
Garrett Tenney joins us live outside of the Utah County Jail with more. Good morning, Garrett.
Good morning, y'all. We have learned that Charlie Kirk's alleged assassin is being held in a separate unit here at the Utah County Jail and is under special watch to make sure he doesn't hurt himself or others before his first court appearance tomorrow. And as you mentioned, the suspect is not cooperating with the investigation. But Utah Governor Spencer Cox says other people close to the suspect are cooperating.
He has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating. But all the people around him are cooperating, and I think that's very important. His roommate was indeed a boyfriend who is transitioning from male to female. He is cooperating with authorities as well.
Oh, there it is, huh?
Investigators are also trying to put together a.
That's what I was saying before. Is like, you got all these people gassing you up in your life, your friends and your families, or these weirdos that are online in these Discord chats that you've never met in real life, and then you meet them in real life, and you think that they're your bestest, most goodest friend ever, and then you go out and do something like this, and they're going to be the first people that turn on you, because nobody. I mean, you could sit here and talk trash all you want all day, but there's a fine line between talking trash and then going out and actually harming people. And obviously this guy didn't know the difference. So.
Timeline for the suspect's radicalization, and officials say it appears to have happened over the last few years as the suspect was spending an increasing amount of time in the, quote, dark places of the internet. The New York Times reports that after the FBI released surveillance images of the suspect, an acquaintance tagged him in an online group chat, and the suspect allegedly replied that his doppelganger was trying to, quote, get me in trouble. And then when another person joked that they should turn him in for the reward, the suspect allegedly responded, only if I get a cut. We also have this new surveillance video obtained by TMZ showing the alleged assassin walking to UVU's campus the morning of the shooting. This was about 4 hours beforehand, wearing a maroon shirt and light-colored shorts, and that he later changed out of before returning to campus, and what they are learning so far. Back to y'all.
All right, Garrett, thanks so much. The one thing that comes to mind, too, is that you initially thought that maybe he was cooperating because they got information on his dad convinced him to go. We heard of that person speaking out, that he got radicalized. And then you have to look at possibly how they have made a statement that they're looking to widen the investigation and to probe whether pro-trans online groups and others connected with Robinson knew in advance about the plan to kill him. But the mindset of a guy that could assassinate someone, we assume for the first time in his life, and go online.
I love how they can put this much time and effort into going online and stirring up a whole bunch of people. You know, if you spend that amount of time trying to rally together a party, not necessarily a Democratic Party member, but a candidate, and like speaking to your officials that are in your state, especially the Democratic officials, to try and get somebody that's going to fit more in line with what they want and their ideals. You instead of going out and gassing these people up to go out and commit death and murder, you'd be surprised at how much you could probably get changed in a state. If they only tried it, they might be amazed by the amount of what would come out of it.
And engage and be lighthearted and just mock the fact that he looks like the killer, even though he is. That mindset, I just can't understand.
Well, I know if you go on social media and you start watching some videos about Charlie Kirk and some of the past comments and some of his speeches, another one.
Yeah, again, this goes back to some people actually thinking that you have some sort of privacy when you do stuff online. You know you don't, right? Like if the FBI subpoenaed, your records are like anything to do with your IP address from like Xfinity or AT&T or I don't know, Skylink or whatever that is, Starlink, you do realize they're required by law to give it, right? They have everything, all your information. If you use a incognito window, that still comes up. If you use a VPN in an incognito window, that still comes up. They'll just subpoena the information from the VPN company. They have to give the information. Your information is not private. If you go online and you do something like this, it's gonna come back to you. That's why so many people are getting fired right now from their jobs because like you're dumb. There is no privacy online.
Pop up and another one will pop up. So I spent a lot of the weekend going through a lot of what he has said in the past. I think we've learned a lot more about him, even in death, than we did in life. And then we were all craving some sort of a spiritual component yesterday. And Sean and I went to church, or we watched church online, a church we love in South Carolina. And they honored Charlie Kirk. The pastor said, could everyone please kneel and let's say a prayer for Charlie. He also remembered the family of the girl who was slain on the train in North Carolina. Charlie Kirk, in his priest homily. Masses are being offered across the country for the repose of his soul.
So that's important for two reasons. There's a couple of things that still need to be the assassin. Okay, so obviously there was a
They are trying to, I believe, I covered this over the weekend. Trump is trying to, supposedly, is trying to make a new law to charge for domestic terrorism. I think that's long overdue. A law to charge this kind of action as domestic terrorism is long overdue to happen. It should have happened sooner. Because once you charge somebody with domestic terrorism, like when you are charged with terrorism in general, you, in a sense, renounce your citizenship. Whenever they brought the Boston bombers in, they were able to interrogate them in ways that would violate, not necessarily violate, but would make it more like you brought in Osama and were trying to interrogate him. It made it easier, and you could use other sources of types of interrogations in order to get the information you need from them. And I think that's honestly what needs to happen. Like, this kind of person should end up if Guantanamo Bay was still open, he should be in Guantanamo Bay. He shouldn't be in a cell or a prison in the U.S. They should ship him off to an island where he can be with the other terrorists that got caught,
going on before. Did he discuss any of his plans before? He felt comfortable.
That's the thing is, like, they always have some kind of discussion, because if you think for 1 second that somebody's going to go out and throw their life away like this on a whim for no reason without discussing with anybody that felt the same, it's not going to happen, especially not from somebody so young. It's just not going to happen.
Bragging that he looked like the assassin when he really was the assassin. So there had to be some type of conversation. We also know that relatives said that
somebody gassed him up enough to where he went out and did this crazy and like insane murder.
Vocal about
wasn't. They said that a couple of his coworkers said, yeah, he was very quiet. And in fact, one time we were having a conversation about politics, and most of us at work at the electrician, where he was an electrician, he left in 2023, started talking about politics. He went into the laundry room and just sat there by himself, isolated. He couldn't handle the conservative talk. So, I mean, you begin to see that. They said the only other time he showed interest is when you talked about guns.
Well, we've all been wondering who's going to take over for Charlie Kirk for his show.
One of Charlie Kirk's business partners to share a praise report from TPUSA. The organization has received over 32,000 inquiries in the last 48 hours on how to start new chapters. To put that into perspective.
Yeah, apparently there's 6 or 7 new people that are going around to campuses and doing the exact same types of debate. They really thought that they were going to shut down this ideology by invoking fear after Kirk's death, and all they did was stroke the flame and threw gasoline on it and watched it burn even higher and heavier. Like, you don't get rid of this mentality by killing the person involved, you make it worse. I mean, you would think that just by reading history and watching history with the Twin Towers and with all the people that lost their lives in that and the Boston bombings, the Boston Marathon bombings, let me say it the right way, and the people that lost their lives and the kid that lost his life in that and, everything that happened with that, all the limbs that got lost. It just, you don't kill the American spirit by doing this nonsense. You just make it burn hotter. You make it fight harder, and it's just this is just a new style of terrorism, in my opinion. It's just a homebound terrorism that's here instead of from a foreign country.